Welcome back again to the channel. Today I'm swapping out the carburetor on this MS250. I'm trying to get you guys in a good spot. Hopefully this works out. But the first thing we're going to do is get this cover off. So that's real simple. Okay, next I want you guys to be able to see this. We're going to work on taking the choke off. So I'm going to take the kill switch out and pop the choke up one so it has a little flex in it, and then we can maneuver this and just hopefully we can see this, guys. It's tough with one hand trying to film, but we're gonna pull up and hopefully slide it out. There it comes. Hopefully we got on video. I'm sorry for the shaking, just don't have the perfect setup for you guys. Okay, so that choke lever's out. Next, with a 5/16 nut driver, we're going to take the nuts off. I'll take off the air filter housing. Set that to the side. Now we'll just keep that in there for when we put it back. And if you heard that, it just fell on the floor. Okay, now we can go ahead and, well, let's take the throttle linkage off. So we're going to squeeze the trigger a little bit, okay? And we're going to get a screwdriver to pry underneath. And we're just going to pop up on this and bring you guys in here so I can see what I'm saying. Okay, and off comes the throttle linkage. Twist that out, set that to the side. Now we can kind of maneuver the carburetor a little bit if we want. The housing here on the right, this rubber boot. Slide the carb out a little, pull that up, get it out of the way. Now, if your tank is pressurized, see mine, I should have took the fuel out and I didn't. But if the fuel was low enough that you could open the cap up so the fuel wouldn't come out, go ahead and do that. So when you pull off the fuel line, it won't spray gas on you. Let's just give that a turn. Maybe that's a little better there. It's still a little low. Anyway, I'm going to pull the fuel line off now, and what I have is a little golf tee. And the one thing I noticed on this older carburetor that's a knockoff brand, it has like a barbed connection to it, and this fuel line that's in here now is a little wider, so that could be an issue putting on the new Stihl OEM carburetor, only because this might not attach tightly and it might be loose. Anyway, I'm going to slide the fuel line off. I'm just going to get a little leverage here and pry it and pinch the line at the same time. And then might have a little fuel come out, but I got a cover here. And like I said, the golf tee, just put it in the end there. And that's plugged off. And just move it over here onto this mounting bolt, and then that's out of the way. Now you can slip this off, and I believe, yeah, like you don't have to take the throttle or the linkage here off, so we can just move the fuel line over and begin to wiggle this old carburetor off. And sometimes that fuel line's in the way and just a pain, but if you just wiggle it around, it will come off. I'll just pause it for a second. So I don't want to ruin the line. I don't think it can slip off, so I was incorrect. We're going to back that up just a little bit. So we're going to pry this black piece off, and we're going to set it all the way down so that when this metal, this is what when the kill switch is hooked up, this metal here connects to that, and that's what stops the engine. So we're going to press this all the way down and then get in here with a screwdriver and just pry up and then slowly work it out. Actually, if you can look, well, let me show you. This is connected right here, so you do have to switch this back up. It's just easier to switch it down the whole way to get it to clear this bottom part. Now we can wiggle it out and pop it free. Get you guys set back up, and I do apologize for moving you around so much, but I haven't found the right setup just yet. So that'll give us clearance to push the fuel line down far enough that we can slip the old carburetor off. Now, this carburetor was sent to me, in all honesty, from a parts store called HIPAA, and they do have some nice parts, but ever since I put this carburetor on, the engine has had like a surge to it, like there's almost like an air leak somewhere, and I've messed with the high, mostly the low jet. I found a sweet spot for the high, but the low jet, I just cannot get this thing. It'll idle, and then it'll kind of surge, and then it'll back off like it's dying. So I thought, for 35 bucks, I'm just going to go out and get a brand new MS250 carburetor. And the number that is on this box is 112-312-00603. And as you can see here, can you see those, like this is the Zama, and it has like that black barb, and this is the Stihl. It's got like just the solid tubing, but it does look like the diameter is the same, so it shouldn't be an issue reattaching that fuel line and having an issue with it slipping off. So I can go ahead and work the new carburetor on. Come on, you. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. Oh boy, I was putting it on backwards. I don't know what I was thinking. There we go. So this way, and there is clearance, so you got to work the left side and then the right side over. Okay, we got that like that. Now we can go ahead and pinch this fuel line again. And I'm sorry, my hands are in the way. There's not a good clear view, but all I'm doing is pulling the fuel line off, and it's squirting everywhere now. It's a good thing I got a rag down. And we're just feeding it back onto the fuel inlet side of the carburetor. Okay. Now we're going to take our, I'm not sure what this is called, but that's the next part we put back on. And we're going to get this piece that goes in the middle where the throttle linkage is. You got to make sure that that's in there. And the left side, it's notched out. You guys aren't going to know what I'm talking about unless you see it. So in like that, and then down. So that's how it's going to start. So I just want you guys to be able to at least see that. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, I think maybe for Christmas I'll ask for a better setup of sorts, so we can get you guys into the camera or a better angle of what I'm actually looking at. And I already messed up. Let's pull that back out. Let's get this tab up. Get this close to where it's going to be. Okay, good. Now we can snap that down in there. There we go. Come on, there it is. Okay, so everything's back where it needs to be. I'm just slipping the kill wire back in there for now. Let's go ahead and get our choke. You know what? I'm going to pull that kill wire back out. Get our choke kind of started here on the side. kind of doing everything backwards from this side. I'm not used to working this side. Okay, slide that in. Come on. There we go. So the choke's in there. Now you can see that it works. Choke works. We can slip our kill wire back in there. And some of these parts and the terms that I use might not be the same that you use, but I think at the end of the day we all know what we're talking about here. All know what we're doing. Okay, so that's on, that's on. I'll slide this cover back over. And again, like I just said, the terms of what certain things are, I might not get them right. You guys might call them something, I call them something else, but you guys still see that, yeah. The longer side goes in the back. That goes down to the low screw. And it's amazing that, like on the OEM carb here, like everything lines up perfectly like it should. That's why it's OEM. And then on the other carburetor that was shipped, it's like that didn't line up with that, and I had to finagle it around and make it fit. And a little bit of a pain, but at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. Okay. And right now I'm lining up these like rubber gasket part, or the rubber parts on this, to the parts like the low screw, the idle screw, and the high screw, and then pushing that back in. Everything's got a place. Okay. And get our throttle linkage down here hooked up. I'm going to spin it again because I've got to find it. And basically, it's just a little notch here. There's a hole on the throttle of the carburetor. The throttle and the butterfly right there. I'll get in there, bugger. Come on. So stinking close. There we go. Right? Yeah, okay. And again, like I showed you earlier, got to squeeze the trigger up, line up that notch, and seat it so it clicks. Get in there. There we go. Oh yeah, man, that actually feels a lot better. Okay. Get our air filter housing back on there. Okay, then we can, when we put these nuts back on, you should really do it without an impact. Like, you should tighten it down with a socket or a socket driver. But this is my saw, and this is what I'm going to do with it. But if you're working on someone's saw, you shouldn't do this, just so you know. A little click. A little click. Okay. Now we're back in business. Everything's back in. Choke worked. We checked that. Kill wire lines up. That's good. Throttle feels nice and tight. Okay, we're going to throw our cover back on. Get everything where it needs to be. Lock that in. We'll go outside and fire it up. So if this does have an idle tick to it, there could be an air leak to it. However, I feel better putting an OEM carburetor on this than the one I had on before. So hopefully it idles and stays at a nice pace. So let's find out. This is a cold start. Got the choke on. should have done was started this for you guys before I swapped the carburetor out so you could hear the difference. You could hear it going up and then coming back down, going up and going back down. This one wasn't, the stall's not warmed up, but you could tell right away that it was a significant difference. So I guess you kind of get what you pay for, even though I didn't pay for the other one. That was shipped to me for free to make a video on. So just buy the OEM. It's $34.99. Definitely, if you're going to use a Stihl saw, Husqvarna saw, any name brand saw, it's worth the extra bucks. So, hey, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next video.